this special event on behalf of both Presteigne Norton Town Council and indeed the whole community. It's an enormous achievement to be World Super Sport Champion, and we do offer you our heartiest congratulations. We know that achievements of this kind do not come easily, and the result of many years of very hard work and complete commitment. We know how hard you worked for this and how much you had to put into it. Thank you for your company there. Chaz, we'd like to acclaim you, if I can get my voice heard over the baby, not only as a citizen of Presteigne, but also the former pupil of John Beddoes School. So at this point, it gives me great pleasure, on behalf of Norton Town Council, to present you with this certificate of our appreciation on behalf of the people of Presteigne Norton. Wonderful, well done, brilliant.
All of a sudden it's dawned on me that I've known you for 10 years of racing, a full decade, because even though he started racing in mini moto at the, I think you're wrong actually, it's the Principality of Kinsham. Principality of Kinsham, or maybe it's the People's Democratic Republic, I don't know yet. But the Principality I rather fancy that it is. I didn't know him then, but I've heard all the stories about when he was racing in the 125 class Super Teens and the Aprilia Cup with Leon Camia and some guy called Casey Stoner, who has just wrapped up his second World MotoGP Championship this season. And you used to go nail to nail, knee to knee, wheel to wheel with Chaz Davies, I'm getting nervous now. See, that's what you've done to me with Casey Stoner. And I always thought, come on, you know, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. That's when I got to know you in 2002. He came into the 125 class as an absolute youngster. What were you, 15 years old or so? Just literally birthday in February. And travelled the world. And then there was a Grand Prix, I remember, when we went to Japan, and I think your father didn't come along. And it must have been a big step for Chaz, but he handled it coolly, calmly and collectively. And then there was a change. He moved from 125 and he went to 250, and he was in 250 for 3 years with the Aprilia Team Germany squad with a guy called Dieter Stappen, who's actually an Austrian. And Dieter was about 60-something years old, but actually, in his heart of hearts, he was our age. No matter what age you were, whether or not you were Mum, Sam, Dad, Jolie, sister, anybody, me, he was on a level with everybody. And there was a synergy between anybody that rode in that team, or even was part of that team as a mechanic, or as the guy who wheeled the tyres around, drove the truck. It was a good team spirit. And it got Chaz through 3 years in 250, and we in the paddock, we know what kind of machinery that Chaz had. Didn't have the super duper stuff that was straight out of Italy or Japan or something, and we knew what he was doing with what he had available to him, and he was doing very well indeed. And we thought, right, it's going to go forward. And then in 2006, he got messed around. He got led up the garden path with another team, and it went wrong. So he moved on and he went to America. And in the American Championship, there are lots of different championships of bike racing in America, but in America, he won the biggest race in America, full stop. It's called the Daytona 200, and he won it. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool, that is. And the MotoGP Grand Prix paddock are unable to come, but they've said to me, Julian, Matt Roberts, for example, they've said, send my regards to Chaz. Shame we weren't commentating on you when you won the championship, but I was literally when I was watching, I promise you. Many a glass I've had around many a paddock around the world with his mum and dad. We've had some fun times, haven't we? We've had some great times all over the world. And, you know, his mum came to meet me at my house, the other side of Worcester. Well, can you take the gloves and boots and helmet or whatever it was to Australia one time? And it was my little 0.01% way of trying to help. Another way of helping was when he was in the 250 team with Dieter Stappen, the Austrian guy. You and was it Andrew? Andrew Thomas, or Rob Schuker came up with the idea that we had one of these, premium phone lines at £3 a minute or something or other, and could you do the voiceover for it, Toby? And I said, yeah, great. Are you allowed to say the number on the television so that you can tell the people who are listening on Eurosport? And I said, yes. I'll suffer the consequences with my boss. That wasn't a problem, but we needed to find some sponsorship and raise some money. And, it was please ring this number, and the questions were so dumb easy, it was a joke. But we made people enter a lot of times, and that was great, and hopefully it helped. And one of the thank you presents that the family got for me was a kettle. And finally, there are 5 road racing, circuit racing world championships in the world. MotoGP, Moto2, 125, that's a Grand Prix class. And in the paddock where Chaz is, there's World Superbike, and then there is World Supersport. There are 5 world champions in the world at any one time for road racing around a circuit. And we've got one of them here today. Chaz Davies, ladies and gentlemen.
I've been interviewing Chaz for pretty much over the same period of 10 years that Toby referred to. And from the outset this year, you could really sense that Chaz genuinely thought this was the year when things were going to come together. The signs were there last year, of course, when he finished 4th in the championship. But then the team decamped to Yamaha this time round, and Chaz clearly knew he got the machine to go with his undoubted talent. Early on, it wasn't all plain sailing. Chaz had to adapt his riding style to get used to the bike and get the best out of it. And in the first round at Phillip Island in Australia, mechanical problems left him well off the pace. But even then, he knew he could be competitive, and a second-place finish behind his teammate Luca Scassa at Donington underlined that. Luca had won the opening 2 rounds for the Park and Go Yamaha team, but now it was to be Chaz's turn to top the podium. He took 3 of the next 4 checkered flags, with wins in Assen, and then Monza and Aragon, with a 6th-place finish in Misano sandwiched in between. Aragon was perhaps a defining moment in the season. Rob Parks retired in Spain, and Chaz's win left him 20 points clear at the top. The champagne was on ice in the team's motorhomes, even the celebration cake had been baked, and Chaz was 11 seconds clear heading into the closing laps. For those of you who don't follow motorcycling that closely, it's a bit like the other 7 runners in the Olympic 100 metres final turning to Usain Bolt before the start and saying, look, it's only fair, have 10 yards start. As we all know though, sports can have a nasty habit of kicking you in the teeth, and a plume of white smoke from his engine ended Chaz's race and meant the celebrations would have to be put on hold for a further week. Magny-Cours in France was up next, and a 6th-place finish there meant the title was Chaz's and the celebrations could really begin. It is, though, a measure of Chaz's professionalism that there was still 1 round to go at Portimao in Portugal. And while many of us, I suspect, might have been tempted perhaps to coast round without taking too many chances, this is clearly not in the young man's psyche, as he recorded his 6th win of the season, to finish up champion by 50 clear points. When you consider you get 25 points for a win, basically you won it by a country mile. And thank you on a professional level as well for giving me some good news to report. When your working week revolves around Hereford United, Worcestershire Cricket, and the Worcester Warriors Rugby Club, we don't always have a lot to shout about. My final point, and it's a serious one, is that I really hope the whole of the family enjoys Chaz's success. Yes, clearly he will take the plaudits, but we all know, and it's been referred to already several times, that Pete, Sam and Jodie and the extended family are providing unstinting support and loyalty in some of the tougher years. So I really hope they're able to bask in the reflected glory of this magnificent achievement. Chaz, many congratulations, enjoy your day, enjoy the occasion, and like Grumpy the Dwarf, I've been privileged to have a small part in it.
Get involved, but I've got to learn bike as well. I've got to learn how to ride a super bike. It's going to be a bit different, but so there's plenty to go. We've got a few days testing, and we'll see how we do February next year.
Anybody else got a question? If you'd like to make your way this way, because otherwise we're going to have a cat's cradle with that wire off that microphone, and people in 3 days get out of here.
But it was supposed to be a Ducati, because the last round of the championship, my team had decided to go with Ducati. It was all almost signed, but they've changed the rules a little bit because Ducati won the championship this year, and they're being penalised a little bit for that, which makes the Ducati the not preferred bike, I'd say. So I'm going to be on an Aprilia next year. I'm 95% sure. So yeah, we'll be on it on Wednesday, and then I think the contract will be signed in the next couple of days. A bit of a change for me as well. I wasn't quite sure what to think about it, but it'll be good.
And have you got a team again?